All right, Sleuths, so we just found out that Brad's mom, Rach, just slipped up on her latest live stream and confirms that she knows someone who many Cybersleuths think is the key to solving Jay Slater's case, proving that poor Jay's passing was no accident. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a live, and you can hang out with me and Miss Gabby in the chat right here, right beside the best private investigator on all of YouTube. Rach knows the secrets, the clues in her grip. Will she reveal what happened on Jay Slater's trip? Let's find out, guys. Brad's mom, Rach, has returned back to social media and appears to be trying to start a live stream cooking show. And in her latest broadcast, she said this.
Yeah, I know who Luggy is, yeah. I don't know him, like, I've been friends with him for ages, but I know who he is, yeah. Yeah, shall I kick Gail out?
Did that sound like a mistake to you and she sort of caught herself saying this? It definitely sounds like to me like this was a major slip up on her part. She just admitted to knowing an alleged Mafia member that many think actually may have planted Jay's body in his final location, because a lot of Cybersleuths actually think that Chris and Luggy cleaned up the story and tied up all the loose ends so no more questions were asked in the Jay Slater case.
It's like, I don't believe Chris Tenerife and Luggy had anything to do with the crime. They're definitely part of the cleanup crew.
Yeah.
100% they are.
Yeah, shall I kick Gail out?
Yeah, so Rach said, chuck this girl out, because someone in the chat by the name of Gil asked, quote, why Luggy say Jay was found Saturday, end quote. Because we learned that Chris and Luggy found Jay 2 days before it was announced in the British press. And because of that, people are trying to get answers, trying to get justice for Jay. But this person was kicked out of Rach's live stream for trying to get those answers. So it was revealed that Jay's body was discovered by volunteer searchers, or that's what they want us to think, a couple days before it was announced by the British press. The Guardia Civil flew out world-class sniffer dogs and scoured the area of Jay's last phone ping for 3 whole weeks. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, the volunteer searchers, Chris Tenerife and Luggy, just so happened to stumble upon Jay's body at the bottom of a 500-foot cliff after the authorities abandoned the search. So the authorities abandoned the search after 3 weeks, and then the volunteer searchers continued on, and a week later, they just, out of nowhere, find Jay. That anonymous tip should raise a few red flags, because it just so happened the night before Jay was discovered, there was a disturbance in the village of Masca, which was unusual, and it just so happened to coincide with the Spain versus England final of the European Football Championships, where everybody was distracted, giving the opportunity to, you know, plant a body. And because Jay was found at the bottom of this cliff that he apparently just walked off of, they ruled it a fall. The coroner, however, was able to identify blunt force to Jay's head and identified him through fingerprints. But sleuths aren't so sure about this information. How did the coroner identify Jay through fingerprints after Jay was apparently out in the searing hot Spanish sun for 29 days? Because when a body is dehydrated, the fingerprints actually change form, and they normally identify the body at that point through dental records. And some sleuths have actually suggested that it may not have been Jay brought back to his hometown in Oswestwhistle, Lancashire.
I don't even believe that's him in the coffin. I know that sounds awful. I'm sorry, but I really don't. Because, yeah, it just sounds awful, but deep down inside, I just don't think it's him. To find a body 29 days in the same place you have been searching, either it was placed there afterwards or that just isn't him.
No one viewed Jay in death. No one.
No.
And there was this body in Morocco that was found shortly after Jay disappeared, or I think a couple days after. And some actually say that this could have been Jay. I mean, this person appears to be white, and a boat named Maruba left the location anytime Jay disappeared and turned off its signals. The boat, Maruba, was last seen months ago in Morocco, so there is a connection there, and apparently the people that Jay owed a debt to, his bosses, were also said to be from Morocco. So was this Jay? I mean, you see the guy in this clip actually sort of contaminating the scene, and you just kind of wonder what is really going on here. Yeah, you can see that the person is white, which is very unusual. By the way, I searched for an update every day on this body, and there is none. Or was Jay kept alive for a few weeks and his body placed there and staged as a fall, so the fingerprints were available for them to get because he wasn't actually there for as long as they said he was. Because it sounds like Jay's skull was still intact, and dropping 500 feet, well, his skull would shatter. I mean, this is from only 100 feet. The impacts to his skull, resulting in blunt force, can also be consistent with something more nefarious at play and not just an accident. Like, how does a coroner look at somebody with, like, you know, holes in their head and just immediately rule it an accident? I guess it's circumstantial because he was found at the bottom of this 500-foot cliff. And then we learned that the coroner in the UK doing the inquest is Nicola Bulley's coroner, which I don't put too much trust in. We're going to get the results we want. Now, how can we forget Jay's phone was allegedly wiped clean of any evidence, and Jay's clothes were found right beside him, not on him? Because we learned that the phone was found on the beach leading up to the ravine. And logistically, if Jay had already fallen in the ravine at that point and was passed, how did Jay's belongings end up on the beach? Unless he was carried to his final location. And this was a vital clue that it wasn't an accident. But most importantly, we learned that the volunteer searchers are not an innocent third party in all of this. Chris Tenerife and Luggy allegedly work for the Mafia, according to a local in Tenerife.
Chris Tenerife and Luggy are heavily involved in the society, as it's called, or as we know it, the Mafia in Tenerife. Chris Tenerife and Luggy were called up to Masca to cover this up.
Cybersleuths have said Chris and Luggy are cleaner of sorts, trying to tie up all the loose ends in this case to get people to stop asking these important questions that are still largely unanswered. And even Jay's own family are wondering. Because at one point, Chris and Luggy actually let it slip that 4 fit men helped carry Jay to his final location.
Basically insinuating that 4 very fit people could have carried Jay there and slung him down a ravine.
Andrea Stewart, there is stuff that we know that we are not discussing just yet. Yes.
Brad's mom, Rach, also let this slip in her live.
I'm here, yeah, and I've done things, haven't I? The proof will come out if it needs to come out, won't it?
Yeah, so you heard that right. Rach said proof will come out when it needs to come out. Now that is interesting because when Rach called out content creators who were just trying to understand the story, she said, quote, "The truth sits with us." And Rach and her son Brad are not helping us fill in the blanks and are keeping their cards close to their chests, so to speak. So commenters are quick to point out that this sort of secrecy feels like a defense mechanism. With one user writing, quote, "They all know. Poor Warren is being left in the dark on everything," end quote. So do you guys feel that Rach holds the answers to this case and is trying to silence people in an attempt to not only protect herself, but her son, Brad? I'm starting to think so. This was evident in the Facebook group Rach ran and moderated with Lucy, where many of the vital clues like these were being deleted. It was revealed later on that Brad and Jay's rival, Tom Hilton, have a very close relationship. Some have even suggested they are cousins and have a stronger bond than Brad and Jay did. Rach also revealed in her previous live she speaks to Debbie daily, and many sleuths suggest that she might be trying to control Debbie like she allegedly has throughout the search.
Yeah, I see Debbie every day. So I'll be back at 8 o'clock and I'll do some out cooking with everybody and give everyone some ideas.
So allegedly, Rach was the first person ever to set up the GoFundMe for Jay, and these texts allegedly from Rach say, quote, "I know where Jay is, but can I tell anyone this? No, then I will get took. We need 30K by Monday morning. Lucy needs to hurry up and transfer the GoFundMe money to pay, then Jay can come home. I just need her to hurry. I hate seeing him like this," end quote. Yeah, so it seems like Rach knows more than what she's letting on, and maybe trying to shield her son from telling the truth. Brad has since released a statement addressing people's concerns, but it doesn't answer any of the important questions, like the Snapchat video call he was on with Jay. There is still no proof of this Snapchat call ever existing, and some have actually suggested that Brad was there that night at the B&B when Jay vanished. Ayub Kasim, the convicted substance dealer who was hosting Jay at the B&B, keeps slipping up and saying, quote, "Jay's mate," end quote, then later correcting himself in his lives. Many have suggested Ayub is covering for a 4th person there, and some have wondered if this 4th person was Brad. Ayub has since made comments that are raising a few red flags in the Cybersleuth community. In one instance, Ayub throws Ofelia, the Airbnb cafe owner, under the bus. One sleuth writes, "You slipped up many times. The hills have eyes, you said. Come on, people on you." He responds, yeah, explaining how Ofelia and husband and son What I thought him to be looked like Hills Have Eyes characters. The son's shirt was halfway up his belly and was randomly rolling with a wheelbarrow. The sleuth replies, haha, trying to cast it back off to the film. No, we understood the first time, quack. Ayub mentioned the movie The Hills Have Eyes in one of his past live streams, which is based on the Scottish legend of Sawney Beam from the 1600s. Sawney and his family would take people from the street beside his home, capture them, then take their body parts and eat them. That is chilling because Jay allegedly disappeared from the road beside the B&B. And someone suggested that Jay's body parts were harvested and sold since there is CCTV footage of people carrying white boxes to a boat the night he disappeared. And Debbie, in her Sun News interview, also said that some of Jay still needs to be repatriated or brought back to the UK. So Jay's body was possibly separated. Possibly his organs are still left behind.
Things that they've kept for the post-mortem in Tenerife that we're still going to have to arrange for repatriation again.
The Canary Islands is known for organ transplants, and Spain is a world leader in this area. So, was Jay's organs sold to pay off a debt, as sleuths have wildly speculated? Now, I don't know. I wasn't there. Ayub in this comment mentions Ofelia, who Lisa say is a shady character, because she did not help Jay Slater's family with the search. She actually kicked them out of her cafe and slammed the doors, and also pretended to not speak English. Ofelia was the last person to ever see Jay alive, and some people think she was paid off, while others suggest she may have mistaken Jay for one of his friends, including Brad. The last known ever sighting of Jay was by Ofelia, who said she saw him around 8:15 a.m., a kilometer away from the B&B, here, walking fast in the wrong direction up the hill. So why didn't she tell him that he's going the wrong way? Because she knew that Jay was trying to make it to his hotel in Los Cristianos. But was this really Brad she saw, or any one of Jay's acquaintances? Even Tom? Because as you can see with a pair of sunglasses, Tom looks very similar to Jay. And many tourists in the area from the UK have the same haircut and dress the same way, especially with that one small man bag they all wear across their chest. So factoring in Ofelia is an older lady who may have poor eyesight, a misidentification could have happened. Ayub has released this audio of the night Jay disappeared, and sleuths have suggested it isn't Jay in this clip, especially because Ayub didn't release the visual to go along with it. So who is he hiding?
2 bottles there. Headshot. It looks like someone done it.
YouTuber Wax Unfiltered actually believes that they can hear chains in the background of this audio, possibly of like a boat, and some suggest it could be Brad in this clip. One sleuth writes to Ayub, quote, "Does it not haunt you?" And he replies, "No, but it's sad. Think only haunt if you do bad to people. I didn't. Like I said, he come mine alive, he left alive." And I personally find it strange that Ayub keeps stressing the point that Jay left alive. The choice of words kind of bother me. No one has said Jay arrived at your B&B not alive. So it makes me wonder if he wasn't alive when he arrived. A local says that the B&B is known to be used by the Mafia, and it's a perfect place since it's in the mountains and there's only one road in and one road out. So you can watch who's coming in and out of town. Ayub allegedly only booked this B&B under a fake name hours before he arrived. And he's also the only person to ever review the Airbnb, talking about how good of a cleaner they have, which is a bizarre review to leave because you wouldn't know if it was good cleaning or not until after. And of course, he mentions the owner, Roman. Sleuth Sinclair discovered the B&B is allegedly owned by the disgraced mayor of Tenerife, Roman, who many have suggested was there at the energy rave the night Jay disappeared, and bizarrely kept popping up throughout the search for Jay, much in the same way Brad's mom, Rach, has. Ayub and Rocky were also believed to be at the energy rave, watching Jay as he appeared to be slip something that made Jay's behavior throughout the night quickly change. So sleuths in the rave footage think that they see Ayub and Rocky watching Jay as he was stumbling around like a hawk in the upper left corner of the rave videos. And sleuths have also identified members of Tom Hilton's gang at the rave as well, along with Tom Hilton's uncle, who was in Tom Hilton's alibi photo posted the day Jay went missing at 6:04 a.m. So was this sort of like an alibi photo? Because looking at this photo, you can see Christmas decorations in the background, and we hear Tom was actually in Spain, and even a local suggested that he was in Tenerife when Jay was. And some of Tom Hilton's friends appear to have a very close relationship with Ayub, even seen partying with him while Ayub was in Tenerife. Many are asking if Jay was taken to his final location against his will. There is an additional dwelling behind the B&B that was rented out by Ayub, and it's actually for sale, so you can see inside of it. Inside, there appears to be dangling ropes and even hooks. Voiceover artist Dan O'Keefe alleged that Ayub was there as the unimaginable happened to poor Jay.
Ayub is linked to all of this as he brought him there in the first place. But he did not torture Jay Slater. The person who did is known to both Ayub and the Spanish police. And guess what, folks? Neither did nothing to stop this happening.
The details are pretty distressing, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But Dan, in this clip, pronounced Ayub's name wrong, Ayub, but someone in the comments on my last video told me that is just a Scottish accent. Dan didn't say Ayub was involved in the deed, but just allegedly watched. And the psychic shown by Wax Unfiltered said that Ayub holds the clue to this mystery. One sleuth who saw the Dan O'Keefe video says, quote, "You watched Jay get blank, how do you sleep?" End quote. To which Quack Quack replies, "Where do you get your information from?" What do you guys think about all of this? Do you think Rach holds the answers to all of our questions? Sound off in the comments below. And if you made it this far in my video, you deserve my email, which is josephmorriscontact@gmail.com. Bye guys, I love you.